Okay, so the quadratic formula. So in days gone past, you didn't have to know the formula, okay? It was printed at the beginning of the paper. Now the government, in their infinite wisdom, have decided that you should know this off by heart. So I'm really sorry, but you're going to end up being a sad individual like me, knowing all this sort of stuff. If it helps, I've always found that if I write things I need to know, like various formulae, I write it on a scrap of paper, put it on the fridge, and then every time somebody walks past it, they shout out and say, "Tell, what is this?" And I found that's the best way of learning it. Okay, now it looks fairly horrible, but believe me, it really isn't. Okay, apart from the 4 and the 2, which we call constants, it's just A, B's and C's. So A is the number of x squareds you have. B is the number of x's you have. And C is the number at the end. Okay, and you just substitute that into the equation. Now, the x squared doesn't have a number in front of it, so we know it's 1x squared. Okay, so if it helps, write in 1. Okay, examiners don't mind. So if you've got A, it's 1A. If you've got x, it's 1x. If you've got x squared, it's 1x squared. So A is 1, B is 6, and C is A. Okay, so it says minus whatever B is. Now B is 6, but it says minus whatever that is. So that's minus 6 plus or minus, and again B squared. So that would be 6 squared minus, now I put a bracket in here, okay, in case I get a minus in here. So this is 4, and 4AC is 4 times A times C. So that's 4 times A, which is 1, times C, which is 8. Okay, and that's over 2A. So A is 1. So if I've got 2A, that's 2 lots of 1, which is 2. So now you can see that all the A's, B's and C's have turned into numbers. So what's going to happen next is the minus 6 and the 2 are going to just stay there. Okay, all that's going to happen is this root is going to shrink as we work out what it is. So we've got minus 6 plus or minus the root of, now 6 squared, 6 sixes are 36, minus 4 times 1 is 4, and 4 eighths are 32. Okay, so all we've done is shrunk this down a bit. So now we have x equals minus 6 plus or minus the root of, now 36 take away 32 leaves us 4, and that's over 2. So now we need to find out what the root of 4 is. So we'll have x equals minus 6 plus or minus, and the root of 4 is 2. So we can take 2 out. And again, that's all over 2. Now the reason that we have plus or minus is the root of any number is always plus or minus. So just to give you an example, if we have the square root of 16, I'm sure you know that the square root of 16 is 4, because 4 times 4 gives you 16. But I also know that minus 4 times minus 4, 4 fours are 16, and the minus times a minus gives us plus 16, which is what we've got in here. So this is why the root of any number is always plus or minus. Okay? So this also means that we're going to get two different results, okay? Because 2 is going to be worth plus 2 and minus 2, okay? So again, just to emphasize this, you write the formula, you substitute in the numbers, all that happens now is the root shrinks until you get an answer for the root. This value and this value stay the same, so you're just carrying them through. So it's not quite as complicated as you may think. So at this point we're going to have two answers, okay? So x equals minus 6, so let's say we take the plus 2 this time, and that's over 2. Okay, so x equals, so again think bank account, you're £6 overdrawn, you add £2 to your account, you're now at minus 4, and again that's over 2. So x equals, it's going to be a minus because it's minus 4, and 4 over 2 is 2 because 2 goes into 4 twice. So that's one solution. Okay, now we come to the other solution. So we have x equals minus 6 minus 2 this time over 2. So x equals, now I'm £6 overdrawn, and this time I draw out another £2, so I'm now £8 overdrawn over 2. So x equals, we have a minus 8, so it's minus, and 8 over 2 is 4, because 2 goes into 8 4 times. So they're my two solutions, okay? And as I said before, if we were to draw this line on a graph, okay, we will get the parabola and it will cut at minus 4 and it will cut the x-axis at minus 2. Okay, this is what we're working towards. Okay, so I'll pause there and I'll put another one up. Okay, so I'll put another one up and I'll put some minuses in just to scare you. Okay, so we have 1x squared, so a is 1, b is minus 2, and c is minus 8. Okay, don't let these signs frighten you. Okay, we take it step by step. So minus b, so what they're saying is minus whatever b is. Now b is minus 2, so that's minus 2. Okay, now these two signs can touch, and if you've got a minus touching a minus, you get a plus. So here we're going to have 2. If it helps you to write +2, write +2. People don't mind. Okay. So when you get minus b, if it's a negative number, what they're saying is minus whatever b is. So b happens to be -2. So we get -2. Okay. Now we get b squared. So b squared is -2 squared minus, and again I put this in a bracket, 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is -8. Okay, and this is all under the root sign. Okay, and then 2a, so a is 1, so 2 lots of 1 is 2. Now if we'd have had, I don't know, 4x squared, blah, 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 then it would just be 2 times 4. Okay, so the fact that we might get 3x squared or 7x squared, we really don't care. It makes no difference to our life at all. So now the letters have gone and we've got the numbers. So now, as I said before, we're just going to shrink the root sign. So we have x equals 2 plus or minus, so I'll just put the line in here, and of course it's still over 2, the root now -2 squared. If you square any number, positive or negative, you will always get a positive number. Okay, the reason being -2 times -2, which is what -2 squared is. Minus times a minus is a plus, and 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so if you square any number, whether it's positive or negative, it will always be positive. So we get 4 here. Minus, now 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 8 is 32. But plus times a minus is -32. Okay, I'll just go through that again. So we've got 4 times 1 is 4. So remember that's +4. And 4 lots of -8 will give us -32. And it says to take away whatever this is. And this is -32. Now the two signs again can touch. And a minus gives us a plus. So what we're going to have is 4 plus 32. So we have x equals 2 plus or minus the root, and 4 plus 32 is 36, and that's all over 2. So now all we've got to do is take this root 36 out and give it a whole number. So we'll have x equals 2 plus or minus, now the root of 36 is 6, because 6 times 6 gives us 36, and again that's over 2. So all we've done is shrink the root and then got our number out. So now we're going to have two solutions because x is plus or minus. So x equals 2, so let's go with +6 all over 2. So x equals 2 plus 6 is 8 over 2. So x equals, and 2 into 8 goes 4 times exactly. So x equals 4. That's one of our solutions. Okay. Now we go with the minus 6. So we have x equals 2 minus 6, again all over 2. So x will equal, so if I've got £2 in the bank but I draw out 6, I'm now £4 overdrawn, and that's over 2. So x equals, we've got minus 4, so it's going to be a minus number. 4 over 2, well 2 goes into 4 twice, so we get x equals minus 2. So our two solutions, x equals plus 4 and x equals minus 2. Okay. So I'm sure some of you are saying, oh yeah, well it's all fine because you get nice easy numbers at the end. Okay, so I'm going to do one where we don't, just to show you that it's still just as easy, and that the calculator takes the weight of the calculation. So like I said, you need to work slow and steady. Okay, understand that all that's happening is that once you substituted in the values, the root just shrinks. Okay, and then when you get to this point, you can then get your two solutions. Now you can do this. I've been doing this with the last two that are equations that will factorize. Okay, because if I factorize this, just trust me on this, you get x plus 4. Sorry, you get x minus 4 and you get x plus 2. That's that factorized. Okay, now if I was to solve this just by factorizing, x will equal, take the number, change the sign, so instead of minus 4 it will be plus 4, and x equals, take the number, change the sign, so instead of plus 2 we will get minus 2. So you can see I get exactly the same answers. Okay, but I've done this purely so that you can see, without any distractions of decimals and that sort of thing, that you can work it through nice and simple. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video now and put up one where we don't get a nice, easy number. Okay, so as you can see here, I've put one up. Okay, so I've given myself 2x squared. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do exactly the same as we did before. So a is 2, b is 6, c is 1. Okay, so I just substitute in the values. So b is 6, but it says minus b, so that's minus 6. And then b squared, so that will be 6 squared minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is 1, and 2 lots of a. So a is 2, so 2 2s are 4. Okay, so all the letters have disappeared. Now we shrink the root. So we have minus 6, 6 squared, 36, 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 1 is 8. So that's minus 8. And again over 4. Okay, there are things that, I mean, I still do make these mistakes. Sometimes I think I forget the 4, you know, I forget the bottom of the fraction. So we all do it, so don't worry if you make a mistake. So again, minus 6 plus or minus the root of, so 36 minus 8 is 28, and that's over 4. Excuse me, sorry, I got a bit of a cold. So now we find the root of 28. So we have x equals minus 6 plus or minus. So you then go to your calculator and you find the root of 28, and that will be 5.291. So we've got 5.291. Okay, and again that's still all over 4. So we've got plus or minus 5.291. Okay, I tend to go 3 or 4 decimal places because I'm a pedant, really. So we're going to find out our solutions. So x equals, so we're going to have minus 6 plus 5.291 over 4. So x will equal, so again this is now where the calculator does all the work. So you just type in minus 6 plus 5.291 equals, and we get minus 0.709, and of course that's still over 4. So x will equal, so we just divide that by 4 and we get minus 0.177. Okay, so your calculator now is doing all the work at this point, so there's nothing really for you to do in your head. Okay, so this is one of the solutions, and bear in mind as well, check the question, are they asking it to 2 significant figures, 1 significant figure, 2 decimal places, or do they just want the answer? Okay, so that's one answer. So now we have x equals minus 6 minus 5.291, and again that's all divided by 4. So x equals minus 11.291 all over 4. So x equals, so now I just put in minus 11.291 divided by 4 equals, and I get minus 2.822, and that's my second solution. Okay, so usually when you're completing the square, it's going to be on a calculator paper. So when you get to this point here, your calculator kicks in. Okay? In actual fact, your calculator kicks in here because inevitably you'll have to find the root of a number that isn't a nice square number. Okay? So all you need to do is identify A, B and C, substitute it in, do the necessary arithmetic, and then the calculator will take it from there. Okay? One of the beauties of maths is there are little or no exceptions to a rule. So whenever you're using the formula or anything else, in fact, matter in maths, it's always done the same way. Okay, I know if we were to show this to somebody who doesn't do maths, their ears would bleed. But hopefully now you've done some algebra, you can see that if you take it step by step, you can work through and come to a conclusion. So I really hope it has helped. Really, it's knowing this equation. You will be directed usually in the exam as to when to use it. They'll say using the quadratic equation solve. Okay, so they'll tell you usually when to use it, and usually again it's on a calculator paper. Okay, so I hope that's helped, and I'll just carry on making more videos.